This is a Cincy fan talking with LP. You can catch me on Twitter. That's a Cincy fan talking. You say it like it sounds, just leave off the G. If you have ideas for the show, you can reach me at Cincy_fan talk at yahoo.com. If you have any suggestions for the show, make sure you leave them there. Who knows, you might find yourself as part of the show. Any feedback would be definitely appreciated. And also, make sure you hit the Linktree page that's on my Twitter. Make sure you click on that. You can find all the different ways to contact me there. Enjoy the show. Hey, what's up? What's going on, everybody out there in podcast land? Welcome to what's been a long time coming, y'all. Welcome to another episode of a Cincy fan talking with LP, and this is yours truly, LP. What's up, fam? I know it has been a minute. Let me tell y'all, man. Like I couldn't even find my podcast equipment. Like like real talk. It's been so long, man. I counted with 455 days between podcast episodes. I know a whole lot of people thought that I wasn't coming back with more stuff. I get that. It's been a lot, y'all. When we say the highs and the lows out here, we definitely mean the highs and the lows. Um, I'm jumping into some. I won't call it WNBA talk. It's more like how the WNBA is showing me that a lot of y'all don't know hoop out there, and we're gonna get into that. Congrats to the Celtics for getting the dub, for winning a 18th title. That's wild, number 18. We're gonna talk about how they got slept on for the entire postseason. We're gonna get into a couple of movies I think y'all should watch, a couple of documentaries that I peeped. Um, but first, and let me be honest, y'all. This is probably gonna be tough for me to get through this, but I feel like I should let people know exactly why I haven't been podcasting for like close to a year or so. I'm super rusty, by the way, so let me get my sea legs back up in here. I get back to it and do it. We're gonna keep a routine schedule and all that good stuff, but it's been so much going on. We lost our daughter May 22nd. Um, real tough to get through that. And I know a lot of people can understand, didn't wasn't really thinking about anything close to podcast. And to be honest, the entire summer was a blur. I remember almost nothing about the summer, except for the fact that 5 days after our daughter passed, we had our newest kid. So, like I said, it's been a whirlwind, and she's an absolute blessing. You look at her and you see all of your kids in this person. You can kind of see the idiosyncrasies of all of your kids, and we made it clear from the beginning she's not here to replace the child that we lost at all. It's weird that a couple of people would think something like that, but for us, it's more our kids are kind of able to keep us focused on the here and now. Because to be honest, I don't know where we would be if they weren't here and we weren't taking care of them and they weren't making us laugh and smile and things like that. It's been a journey. It's a journey that we'll be on for the rest of our lives. Um, I feel like my wife is one of the strongest people I've ever met, and we have our ups and downs as far as getting through this. We have some times where it's tough to get out of bed. We have some times where we're laughing at things that she did. We're laughing at things that she said. We're laughing at pictures, and then sometimes we're looking at those pictures and we're in tears. We're crying because we lost our daughter way too soon, way too soon. A couple of things. One, I feel like we were really blessed to have her for the 22 years that she was here. In the time period that she was with us in the physical form, she got her high school diploma, she got her bachelor's degree, she got her master's degree. She did so much in such a little span of time, and I really do find that motivational. It was one of those things where I knew at some point that I would be podcasting again because for two, she was probably one of my biggest fans. Like, just to be honest, she was one of the major influences, not on me just starting the pod, but on certain things I did on the podcast. I made sure, even if I'm talking sports, I'm breaking down the sports in ways that people that don't watch sports understand, because my daughter didn't really like sports. That wasn't her thing. She wasn't into sports at all, but she would always let me know, hey, Dad, because of the way you broke this down, I kind of understand what you're saying. I don't like basketball, but it's funny how basketball kind of mirrors things that we go through. And that's what I kind of convey to the people that listen, because I know a lot of people that listen to me don't necessarily like sports, but they're interested in how sports kind of plays into everyday life. And she really helped me focus on that. And she always had little tidbits to let me know what to do with the pod. Hey, Dad, maybe you shouldn't have music while you're talking, because if you're an OG on the podcast, in the beginning I had music, kind of on the background as I was talking, and she's like, "Dad, if you want people to hear you, you should probably take the music out." And I'm like, "Good point, really good point." So I kind of got that out of there. It was just such a blessing to be around her, and her friend group. They are some of the. They really make us evaluate our friend choices because her friend group, they are, I won't even say were, they are so supportive. They were with us a lot of the time at the hospital. They helped us out a lot as far as making sure we had somewhere to stay while we were up in Columbus for a month straight with her. They were checking on us a lot. Her professors were really good at checking in on us and making sure we were okay if we needed anything. She just has such a great group of people around her. And if one or two of you are listening, I just want to let you know from the bottom of our hearts, we really appreciate everything that you did for us. We know you guys are hurting just like we are. And I had somebody tell me a long time ago, before I went through any of this, that when you're going through grief, at some point, you end up not hurting as much, and you can kind of let the good things in. That's what they told me. I didn't really get it. I'm not sure if I get that now, because after a year the hurt is still there, but I do find myself laughing a little bit more, and I'm able to let a little bit more love in for her and the things that she did while she was here, instead of the anger that's kind of there. If you can kind of understand what I'm saying with that, it's it's gonna be a long process, and we all understand that. You know, I'm just making sure that everything that I do, not just the pod, but everything, is just dedicated to her, and that's what we're staying focused on. Um, I'm pretty sure she's going to be listening to all of these. She always had the notifications locked and loaded, so as soon as I dropped, I knew she was listening. I knew I was getting feedback as soon, well, pretty much an hour after I let the podcast out. So saying that I'm gonna miss her is an understatement, and you guys are pretty much gonna have to understand that there's gonna be Jasmine references dropped through pretty much every pod that I do from here on in, and it's tough. we miss her and we love her, and that's basically why you haven't heard too much from me until now. Um, Taking care of our kid has been absolutely awesome. The newest, and as I keep telling people, the last little Parker girl is here. She just turned 1 and she is absolutely amazing. She's nuts. But her and all of her sisters are keeping us strong, keeping us going. So hey, we're just gonna do what we can, and I'm gonna do what I can to just make sure we keep our memory lifted up and make sure we take care of all these kids to the best of our abilities, and that's what we're gonna do. So let me get a breath in real quick. The voice is gonna be wobbly through this part, and nah, skip all the editing and whatnot because that's just what it is. So, but I'm back. I'm here. I'm blessed. Happy to be with you guys and girls as we roll through with a Cincy fan talking. And honestly, y'all, I have a lot. I have a lot of content. Not about to try to fit it all here because I'll be talking here forever, but we're gonna do a lot of cool things. There's gonna be cool guests coming through. I'll be talking about other people's spots, talking it up and whatnot. But I intend on basically doing things not necessarily the same way, but you'll get the same feel. I'm gonna speak it how I feel it. Not gonna bog you down with the technical sports talk. I don't really do that here. It's more how I perceive things through sports and how it relates to real life because sports and real life they intersect so much. It really bothers me when people say weird things like, yeah, sports and politics don't mix. You sure about that? You sure? Because a lot of political statements are done in the sports world. Always found that weird. So it'll be a lot of the same stuff. Still here, still doing it. And let's get to it. So let's go to Celtics route first. Shout out to all the Celtics fans out there. Congrats, your boys got one. My bad. They got 18. What's this? The 18th dub? 18 rings, 18 championships. And here's the thing about the Celtics winning this ring that kind of gets my goat. It kind of makes me go like, "What? They lost 3 playoff games. They lost 3. So that means they went 16-3 in the playoffs." And you got a lot of people saying, it was too easy. The road is too easy. They didn't play good teams. This is a fraud. This is a Mickey Mouse ring, blah, blah, blah. And it's one of those things where, and I got to take it back to teaching because that's what I do. Shout out to me for getting everything done and getting back into the teaching field. We'll talk about that next week because that's been a journey in and of itself. I don't have the strength to talk about that right now. We'll do that next week. But here's the thing about what the Celtics did and how I feel about teaching, especially me. A lot of people will say things like, you make this look easy, or that's too easy, this, that, and the third. And there's something to be said for making something look easy. I don't think people appreciate how hard it is to make something look easy. Do you know how hard it is to win 16 playoff games? Here's how hard it is. Every year, only one team does it in the NBA. That team is the champion. It is difficult to win 16 playoff games and to only lose 3 in the process. There are not too many teams that have a record of 16-3. There's not. It needs to be celebrated and appreciated. Now, I'll give you if you're arguing with me like, well, hold on, LP, they played some scrubs. I'll give you the fact that they didn't necessarily have the toughest road. They beat the 8 seed. They beat the, I think, the fourth seed, Cleveland. So they beat the 8 seed. They beat the fourth seed. Then they beat the 6 seed, which was Indiana. Then they beat the 5 seed, which was Dallas in the finals. Not necessarily the toughest road to go 16-3. But let's not mistake the fact that this is the same team, the Celtics, that had the best record in the NBA. So it's not like this was a fluke what they did. I feel like we don't appreciate when people make things look easy. I think that, and this is just from me living life, I think that people appreciate your journey if it's difficult and you scuffle a little bit. People appreciate a lot more that than if you just kind of breeze through things. It's hard to breeze through things. Do you know how much practice goes into making things look easy? When I'm in the classroom and you see my classroom management and you see me making sure that all the kids are working in the classroom. And if somebody's acting up, I'm not just yelling at them. I'm like, look, you gotta calm down because we got work to do. Just relax. We'll get what we need to done. We'll get done what we need to get done later. And they listen and they do it. A lot of people are like, that's because your class is easy. That's because they listen to you. That's because blah blah blah. And I'm like, you don't understand how hard it was for me to get this type of classroom management. My first couple of years were absolutely terrible. I had people, real talk, I subbed in a class where the kids ended up throwing worms at each other from a science project. They threw dead worms at each other. And all the girls ran out the classroom yelling, and all the boys are sitting there just throwing worms at each other. That happened my first year teaching. That was a real thing. I was like, I don't think I'm coming back. Like, I'm not making it back here. I got better. And as I got better, my classroom management gets better. And it's to the point now where I can make moves without even thinking about it. Boom. Everybody does they need to do. Very rarely are there issues in my classroom. And that's not a bragging thing. That's a humble brag because I had to work for that. So when you see people make stuff look easy, it wasn't that easy to start. People worked hard, people practiced for that. That's the Celtics. People are disregarding what Jason Tatum went through in the past couple of years, getting so close. Last year or the year before, coming back from a 3-0 deficit in the conference finals and then getting blown out in the seventh game. And then the year before, Jalen Brown not showing up and they get like they really did work hard. They scuffled to get this title. Now, did they scuffle this year? Eh, not really. But that's because they put in the work before. I think people just don't understand that when you make stuff look easy, it's because of how hard you worked before. Nothing's easy. Not something that's worth it. Like if you're doing something that's worth it, there gonna be some bumps in the road. It doesn't start off easy and then stay easy. It's a lot like riding a bike. You see somebody flying down the street, riding a bike, standing on the seat and all that nonsense. You think they started off that way? No, sir. It's a hard road to being excellent, man. Like it really is. Shout out to the Celtics and for all the Celtics haters. Like, I'm not calling myself the biggest Celtics fan. I'm not. I'm a Pacers fan. I'm a little bit salty they didn't get the dub and get to the finals. However, it was the Celtics' time. They finally broke through. They worked hard at it. So if it looked a little bit easy to you, it wasn't really that easy. It just looked easy this year. You got to work hard for that stuff, and they did that. Shout out to the Celtics. Shout out for the ring number 18. Celtics fans, y'all get to live it up until October. That's the way the game go. Talk all the mess y'all want to on Twitter. It's not X, it's Twitter. Sorry, Elon, I don't know what to tell you. Um, I guess we talking WNBA now. Caveat here. All right, I'm gonna keep it a buck and a quarter with y'all. I have talked about the WNBA exactly 2 times on this podcast. Twice. Once on the Chicago Sky, won their title a couple years ago. And another time, um, I think I was talking about the women's Olympic team, and it kind of segued into the WNBA. So I'm not about to sit up here and go like, yeah, WNBA. I always watch WNBA. I love it. I was here. I wasn't here before. Now, when I say I wasn't here before, though, I mean I wasn't here in like the past 9, 10 years. I kind of break down the story because this really jumps into the whole Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese stuff. I wouldn't call myself a Caitlin Clark fan. I honestly just heard of her like last year. Real talk. Now, I'm not a big WNBA fan, but I'm a big college hoops fan. So I kind of saw her a little bit as a freshman, saw her a little bit as a sophomore. As a junior, I saw Caitlin Clark blow up. I kind of saw it coming. For me, I feel like Caitlin Clark has a really great skill set. I think she'll be a great pro. I also realized that Caitlin Clark is playing a position where in the WNBA, you're not going to come in and be dominant. As a point guard in the WNBA, unless you have like an amazing skill set, unless you're like 6'4", long arms, like unless you that in the WNBA, you're not about to just go off as a guard and just ball out. For one, the guards in the WNBA are lightning quick. Like it's unbelievable how quick they are. Like for real. And for two, it's just so physical. You're gonna struggle a little bit. And really as a rookie, you're gonna struggle in anything unless you're like a generational talent, unless you have like the physicality and all that. You're gonna struggle. And then take into account, I think a lot of people forget this part too. In the WNBA, there are only 12 teams. It's just 12. Is I believe it's 12, 14 at the most, but I think it's 12. So the end of a bench in the WNBA is ridiculous. Like it's really really good. We got like 30 teams in the NBA. When you get to player 12 in the WNBA, they might not be as good. I mean, they're going to be good. They're pros. But the 12th woman on the bench in the WNBA, there's only 144 players. They're all good, Jack. So you have all of this, and then you present this to the casual fan, the fan that just saw Caitlin Clark blow up. And then they see all the stuff that's happening to her. They see the bumps. They see her struggling, going 1 for 8 from the field. Then they see somebody like Angel Reese talking mess to her, and they see Angel Reese kind of succeeding, kind of doing her thing. And they go like, "Oh, this is rigged. This is messed up. This ain't right." That's not it. Angel Reese is playing a position where she she's kind of set up to succeed a lot better than Caitlin Clark is. Her job is to get rebounds, is to play defense. It's not necessarily to score. If she scores, that's great. But she can rely on her defense or her rebounding, and she's fine. I don't think a lot of people get that. Now, the fact that she gets so many rebounds and she's very effective on defense helps out a lot. But for me, I just feel like a lot of people don't know hoop. This goes for NBA, WNBA. I don't think they realize that the stuff that's happening to Caitlin Clark, for the most part, is expected. She's gonna get bumped around. She's gonna miss a lot of shots. And every now and again, you're gonna have the occasional hater that does something that nobody agrees with. Like when Kennedy Carter ran up on her and gave her a little mean hip check. If you talk to a hoop fan like me, we'll tell you she was out of order. Like she was dirty for that. Does that mean the whole league hates Caitlin Clark? Nah, man. But I do understand one thing in sports. And if you keep it real, fan out there, casual fan, I'm talking to you and I'm not upset with you. But here's what you need to understand. You are watching this because you like seeing the hero against the villain. Even Angel Reese said that she's like, if I gotta be the villain, that's cool because she understands what a lot of entertainment execs understand. You will watch hero versus villain anything. You will. When I say I don't watch a lot of WNBA, I'm not talking about ever. I'm talking about kind of now. But back in the day when the WNBA first started, we were ready to watch like 96, 97, 98. Because here's the scene. The WNBA, they're just coming up off of a successful Olympic run. You have Rebecca Lobo, you have Lisa Leslie, you have Cheryl Swoops, and they kind of built everything around them. And then you have people blowing up. Teresa Weatherspoon, you have Cynthia Cooper, you have Tina Thompson, you have Tisha Penichero. And I know all these names because they were marketed so well. And you had kind of like enemies against each other. You had the Houston Comets balling on people, and the New York Liberties like we're trying to get that crown, and the Sparks are like we're trying to get that crown, and they set it up to where you wanted to see what happened next. The slogan was "We got next," like that's what it was because they understood back then what we understand now. You want to see a hero against a villain, and here's the thing that people don't understand: the better the villain, the better the product. You think about any action movie you can think of ever in life. You remember the hero, right? If you remember the villain, it's a good movie. If you hate the villain, it's a great movie. And check this out. If you can empathize with the villain, it's a superstar movie. Black Panther. A lot of us can empathize with Killmonger. Like for real. Like when you look at his story arc and you see like what he's fighting for, you go like, damn, I kind of get that. I take it back to the Karate Kid. Nobody like dude. You hated him. He trying to get that win though. That's what it's about. So when I say people just don't know hoop, like I really mean that the intricacies of what's happening with the WNBA, a lot of people don't get it, and a lot of people don't care. I respect that. I really do. But I just want people to acknowledge that. Like, if you can acknowledge that what's happening to Caitlin Clark is what happens to all rookies, if you can acknowledge that and go, like, I just want to see her play, I respect that. But to hear people saying stuff like, oh, the league is rigged, this is racist, blah, 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 you just don't know who. Just say that. Like, just say it and put it out there because when you out there on the court, like when you really balling, nobody's seeing color. I can't count how many times we've been on the court and some white dude to come through and put up like 10 of the 14 points. You think people calling it racist? They like, nah, hey, get the white dude. Guard the white dude. White dude can ball. Like, if you're a really good white player out there and you heard something like that, you probably thinking in the back of your head, like, yeah, I'm balling on them. No hate at all. Like, nah, none. I just feel like a lot of people don't acknowledge that because they're casual fans. There's really nothing wrong with being a casual. Like if you're a casual, that's who you are. But just don't take the casual and try to apply it to everything because then it gets a little weird. You feel me? I don't know. That's just kind of my take on that. Yeah. So if you're looking at people to kind of tell you the intricacies of the WNBA and all that, it's some really good accounts out there that'll break that down. I'm on Twitter a lot. Again, it's never X. I'm not gonna hold you up. It's always Twitter. Jay Boogie out there, she's really good at being able to let you know who not just the great players that you know in the WNBA, but people need to look out for as well. So that's an account I really look for as far as checking out like WNBA stuff. I'm really not one of those people that'll be like, okay, since it's basketball, I know all of this because I realize I'm just hopping back on the WNBA train. So, hey, I'm a casual right now. See how you can just admit that? Like, see how it's freeing to do that? But it's best to link up with people and check out accounts that know this stuff so you can learn this stuff too. Because it's really all about admitting what you don't know and using that to help you learn. You know, real teacher stuff. Um, Happy Juneteenth. Um, if you don't know what that is, definitely look that up. Happy Juneteenth Day to everybody out there. Um, this day irritates me a little bit in the same way Black History Month irritates me, in the same way like Pride Month irritates me. And it's not the actual events that irritate me at all. Not at all. It's the marketing from people that really don't care about Pride Month or Black History Month or Juneteenth. It's the commercials where they say, we're standing with you. Like, but you really just trying to sell product. Like, I heard Chris Rock say something like that and it cracked me up. I heard it on a Daily Show too, but it's 100% true. Like, you don't care. Like you don't care like we care. Like you trying to sell stuff to us. We would appreciate if you just lowered the prices instead of saying you stand with us and then keep your prices super high. If you really stand with us, like lower the price of the food or something. Like like lower the price of the jeans in Walmart. I don't know. Show us that you really care. Give us like a sale or something like that. Now, for America to show that they really care, they would have to do things that they really don't want to do. And that's another episode in itself. Well, I'm I'm still pretty emotional out here, so I'm gonna kind of keep it light. Yeah, let's just do that. We have plenty of time in the future to go head up on all of that. So, before we roll out, I've pretty much been watching everything, to kind of keep my mind right. I've been watching all types of stuff. I found a couple of pretty cool things to watch. Um, One I thought I had seen before, but I had never seen this. It's called BS High, and the BS stands for Bishop Sycamore. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, it's because that's that school in Ohio, around the Columbus area, that ended up being a fake school, like not a real school, but they ended up on ESPN playing against one of the best high school football teams in the nation. And you can imagine how that went. They got blown out. And then the next day, we started finding out, oh, wow, they're not even a real school. This documentary goes all the way back to how the school started, and it shows how they ended up getting on ESPN, even though they were not really an accredited school, according to what I saw on the documentary. Um, I would definitely recommend watching that. It is eye opening. You kind of know the story about what happened. The how is, as an educator and as a coach, it is extremely disturbing. It really is, because it plays on so many different things, y'all. It plays on what we want our kids to be. It plays on what kids want themselves to be. It plays on what grown-ups care about the most: money. It's a little concerning to me because it it also plays on race a lot, and it's one of those things that you don't see at first because everybody around the program is black and all of that. But it seems like this is the type of thing that happens in schools like this to people like this. It's eye opening. It's one of those things that you kind of have to see the belief. I've watched it 3 times because the first time I watched it, I'm like, am I really seeing what I'm seeing? And then the second time, I'm like, wow, this is real. And then the third time, I'm just shaking my head. They have they covered all their bases on this, and most of the talking is done by the head coach of that school. So it's eye opening. It gets a little cringy, y'all. Like prepare yourself. It gets a little cringy. I'm just letting you know. All right. So I recommend that. Definitely watch that. And the second one, I recommend you don't watch. I would say stay away from this movie. Uh, I know it's Black Music Month. I know I know it's Juneteenth today. Do not watch this movie. The movie is called Karen. Yep, Karen. It's about a black family, a black couple that moves into a white suburban neighborhood, and they run into a Karen named Karen. Not making this up, y'all. The acting is absolutely horrible, except for one person for real. Now, Taryn Manning is in this movie. She plays Karen, the Karen. Um, she played Tiffany Doggett slash Pennsatucky in Orange is the New Black. She was one of the prostitutes in Hustle and Flow, stuff like that. She's a really good actress, and she did really well in this movie. Like believable. And I'm not saying believable in like a funny way or like I'm trying to be funny. She really did a good job playing a Karen. Like you felt like she was somebody that was ticked off that black people were living in her neighborhood, and she would do whatever she had to do to get them to leave. Like she conveyed that. Like she really did a good job. Everybody around her did not do a good job. I'm warning you. If you are watching this movie and you say, LP, why did you look? I told you, don't watch it. I'm talking about it because I'm a connoisseur of bad movies. It's what I do. Tubi is like my playground. Like I'm not holding you up. And we'll get into Tubi in the next couple of weeks, but I love me some Tubi. You cannot, it's hard not to find a bad movie on Tubi. It's amazing. And as somebody who I guess I'm a content creator, I'm not about to sit up here and trash anybody who decides to go out there and put the best foot forward. Like if you put the effort in and you put something out there and you ask me to rate it, I'm never giving it less than a 4 out of 10. Because the fact that you stepped up and you tried to do something, that's commendable. But at the same time, if I gotta put like my track record with movies in my house is already spotty. Every time I bring up, hey, you should watch this, the wife reminds me, you also told me to watch Black Knight. I gotta live with that. Like I gotta wear that. So if I'm recommending movies, I gotta make sure they're good because my track record here is already shady. So this is not a movie I'm recommending unless you're like, I really want to see how bad it is. It's just not that good. The acting is bad. Terry Manning did a great job though. So if you're watching it for her, I get it. Please don't pop this in and go like, yeah, Juneteenth. Nah, it's not a good idea. Um, I got more good and bad, but I better go ahead and like kind of pace myself because we got more stuff coming down the pike. So just make sure y'all stay tuned. I'll make sure I keep a tighter schedule. So because I feel like this is something I definitely need to do. I definitely need to be out here podcasting, talking and how I feel it because, there are people up there, not among us that, I feel like they're listening. I feel like Jazzy's listening. So if anybody got to do it for her, and I'm hoping y'all like it. All feedback is, well, I won't say it's good feedback. All feedback is usable feedback. All right. So, um, let me know what you think. If you have something you want to hear from me, definitely let me know. I always got the voice messages open. You can always hit me on Twitter. Never X. You can hit me on Twitter and let me know what you want to hear. And I'm gonna try to knock the rust off y'all and just kind of make it better and better. You feel me? Hey, life is good, y'all. It really is. So until next week, I get at y'all. Peace out.
If you're not ready for the conversation to end, I'm not either. Make sure to catch me on Twitter. That's a Cincy fan talking. Leave off the G at the end of it, and we can keep the conversation going. Also, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button so you can catch the next episodes. The episodes will drop every Tuesday. If there's a change in that, I'll make sure to let you know. Appreciate the support. As always, life is good.